Hello, everybody, and welcome at the official preseason show of the Superleague Lights. My name is Menno Klont, and alongside me is yeah the other guy for today for the preview. It's David Carter. Hi, David.
Hello, good evening. It's great to be here and actually review something like this, a brand new series of GPVWC. So it's going to be intriguing to see what this show's going to be about, and pleasure to be here alongside you, Menno.
Yeah, it was a good idea, I think, to do a preseason show for this new series. Of course, we've got the Super League show. We had it just the overcut, where we had some nice interviews with a lot of people, and it was a preview to the Super League. And yeah, we now have the Super League Lights, which of course are new, and they deserve a preview as well. So what we're going to do today is talk about all 15 teams, and we will try to give our opinion about it, and what we think will happen, and yeah, we talk about it in general. So all 15 teams will be talked about, and we talk a bit about the season in general, what we can expect. Of course, for all the teams, it's a very new series with longer distances than they ever did in the previous series. Some new teams, so we will all talk about that actually. So you've got anything to add, David, or not
No,
about that?
it's going to be interesting to see what not only our thoughts are, but you guys as well in the chat. Put
Yeah.
your opinions in and see what you think, and we'll obviously read out some if you got some comments as well. If anyone's got any predictions of what's going to happen this year, so I think it's time to get cracking.
Yeah,
I
it will
think.
be very cracking, and so 16 races in the 2019 calendar for the Super League Lights, and two preseason tests where we now just had one preseason test, and the second preseason test will be this Wednesday. Did you follow that a bit, David? The
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see what people were doing. Obviously a few people were sort of hiding their true pace and stuff, but it's interesting to see where people are at, and yeah, it gives you a good idea. Hopefully, a good idea what's going to happen this year. But yeah, see what everyone's at really with testing, and hopefully have a good season ahead. Fingers
yeah.
crossed for those teams.
Yeah, yeah, we saw already a lot of cars running, and yeah, because of the first preseason test, every driver need to be signed. So we now actually know the whole Super League Lights grid, so that's a good thing to know. And I think a lot of the teams have had a very long winter already, because they already had the biddings of sponsorship and personnel already. And yeah, for a lot of those teams, it's pretty new in that. And I saw some teams in the Super League Lights did hire someone that can give them advice on biddings. And yeah, some other teams I think had a bit more struggle, or needed to spend a lot of time knowing exactly what to do with biddings. But I think overall, I think every team had a pretty good biddings actually, because yeah, it was all new, so that was very interesting to see. Did you following the biddings in Super League Lights a bit, David, or not that much actually?
Not so much, to be honest. I'll be honest about that. I didn't really follow it too much. I was following Super League more,
Yeah,
but I'd say I think because it's all new for everybody regarding the staff and new
yeah,
staff, obviously new teams and stuff. We probably won't read too much into that
yeah,
this year so much, but I'll say the management of the actual teams themselves, like the actual team managers, will probably come into more
yeah,
handy this year, and then maybe long term, maybe in a few seasons' time, if a few of these teams are still in it, then you probably see the effects of that, because obviously it's new for everybody this year. So
yeah,
I
and
think,
yeah, and I think we will see some very good teams like that are very well prepared, and some teams that have a bit of problem, need to find oh yeah, that's is working for us. Maybe other things are not working for them, but yeah, that's something we are about to discuss. So let's go on with the first team of the tonight, where we're going to talk about. And
yeah,
let's see,
Clegg Ely, I
Clegg
believe.
Ely, yes. So we're going to talk about Clegg Ely. Let's bring the logo up. Scuderia Clegg Ely. So that's the team from Mikael Tumala from Finland, with the drivers Luke McGuire and Matthew Klipp, and the reserve driver of the team is Callum Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the team Scuderia Clegg Ely?
Interesting
Yeah.
lineup. I really think that's an interesting lineup. I say Maguire's always been proven to be pretty quick, particularly if you look at the young drivers test the end of last year at Super League Abu Dhabi. He was really quick. I think he's going to rustle a few feathers, I think, regarding his pace and be up there and be competitive. And I think Klipp's a solid signing as well. I think they could be sort of, as a team, looking at the season ahead, probably sort of maybe fifth, sixth as a team, maybe somewhere like around that sort of region this year, and constantly fighting for top 10 finishes, I think, or around that sort of area. So I think they've got a good chance. It depends, I think, going into the season, long term, where Tumala is at. Because I know last year at Super Cup, they had quite a few drivers coming in and out. Even I did a race for him at Canada. So, it's good to see, I think. But if they stick with this driver lineup for the whole year, I think they've got some potential.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Maguire and Klipp are two safe hands for a Super League Lights team. I think both have enough experience to do 80% race, because that's the race distance we have in Super League Lights this year. Yeah, but the main question is Mika Tomala, a very smart guy, but yeah, he never managed a Super League Light team. Of course, it's new, but he never had a managing like this, and he needs to make the step to at least make sure everything goes all right, because the Super League Lights, like Super League, have got upgrades, have got engines. We've got one engine manufacturer in Martex, but you've got the upgrades which needs to be placed by the manager, and the tires. So it all depends on about yeah, the team needs to get good feedback from the drivers, and yeah, that needs to work. And I think Clegg Ely needs to work very well together with the drivers in order to get the maximum out of it. But yeah, what I would say is that both drivers are capable, and that Mikael Tumala is capable as well. Um, then I see the reserve driver is Callum Roberts, actually somebody that I don't know that well. What do you think of that signing of Callum Roberts? He's a really rookie driver, I think. What do you think about
Yeah,
him?
he's never took part in GPV before. But I have seen him a couple of times though. He looks really decent actually. I think he's got potential, and obviously he has got the option to step down and do maybe Formula Challenge or Super Cup if he wanted to, and obviously some Meccano races as well if he wanted to as well. But I think from what I've seen of him in the past and a couple of races I've seen him do, he looks pretty handy.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think that's again a solid reserve seat there.
yeah. So I think there are all ingredients for Scuderia Clegg Ely to have a good debut season. Yeah, it's difficult to predict where they will end, but I think they will do quite well. But with 30 drivers on the grid and only 15 getting points every race, yeah, let's see where they will end up to. Yeah, we will have the answer from the Australian round pretty soon, but
Yeah.
let's see how it goes after that, of course. That will be very interesting. So that is Clegg Ely. Let's go
Yeah.
to the next team.
Yeah. I believe
And
it's Drake.
the
Drake
next,
Racing.
yeah, the next team is Drake Racing. So let's bring up the logo. So there it is. Drake Racing. Well, yeah, that's a pretty well-known team in GPVWC. The team from Wales, with as primary drivers signed Adam Pinches from Hungary and Mark Richards from Wales. And as a reserve driver, we've got Ben Willis. So that is a pretty good lineup, if you would ask me. And yeah, I think they can do pretty good. What do you think, David? Any negatives about the team, or anything you want to add about the team in Drake in general?
I see as a Drake can do pretty handy. I particularly have Adam Pinches in the car as well. ACR driver, really quick and got a huge amount of potential. I see him as a Super League driver definitely one day for sure. Um, you know, he can win races. He's got huge potential. Adam Pinches, as well as Matt Richards as well. He's maybe never really shown his full potential. I think in the career ladder, and touring in the ITC, he was really good and always been a very quick lapper. But it'd be interesting to see how he does in this longer format. And again, I think they got like Clegg Ely, huge potential, and I say they could be fighting really high up there as well as a team. And I think they'd be probably as a team probably aiming for sort of like top 5 in the team's championship. I think that's a really solid lineup.
Yeah, that's a really solid lineup. I think Adam Pinches is quite new to Air Factor 2, or yeah, he's not that well known, but he showed last year he's a very good driver, and if he just continues continuing learning and working very hard, which I know he does a lot, then I think he will show a very good race pace in races. And then Matt Richards, I believe he won some Super Cup races last year. Yeah, that guy
Yep.
is ready for the big work. Of course, this is a longer format, so we shall see in the end what he can achieve. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good lineup, and I think the important thing about the Team Drag is also work together. Pinches need to work together with Richards. They need to give each other feedback, make each other stronger, and then yeah, they will be very good. Um, and yeah, managing side Drake, I've got yeah, no doubt they will be doing very well. They will produce, I think, a very strong car, and they know everything at least what there is need to know, what they need to know. And I think with building, they look into it, building the car, getting the right upgrades. So I think, yeah, I would definitely see them to make a very strong competitive car, and then it's for Richards and Pinches the task to deliver the points. But yeah, that's of course their task. Anything to add, David?
No, I just think they could do a really solid job. Well, they
Yeah,
should be doing a really solid job this year. I think
yeah,
they're looking good. They're looking good. Better
yeah.
than other teams, that's for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, looking good is also, I believe, the livery, because Drake Racing always has really fine liveries. So yeah, if you can choose a nice livery that's maybe a bit in front and a lot in the cameras at broadcast, I think that's Drake Racing the perfect team. So yeah, I think they can do very well with Ben Willis as reserve driver. Ben Willis is for me a very knowledgeable guy, so yeah, he will help the team hugely. So that's actually what I think from Drake. So that's good good for them, I guess. So that was Drake then for now. And then we go to the next one, which is a Holland Racing team.
Yep.
Holland Racing Team. Well, yeah.
Yep.
Where are they from? Of course, from Holland. With
Yep.
the main drivers, Bastian Peisler. I think everybody knows him from GPVWC. And Laurent Keersmakers from Belgium. Two very fast drivers. Laurent Keersmakers was in GPV before, I believe, in 2009 or maybe earlier, but he has some experience in sim racing. He has been away from GPV for quite long, but just returned, yeah, for Holland Racing Team, and yeah, he's a very fast sim racer, and yeah, he's got paired up with Bastian Peisler and Gerrit de Vries as a reserve driver. Um, David, Holland Racing Team, a team that's now there for, I believe, the third or fourth season.
That's
What
right.
what do you expect from HRT as they like to be called.
Yeah, respectable. I've seen Paisley test actually in his Formula Challenge team. I know it's a different car entirely, but he looked really, really sharp. Every time I've seen him on track, he's always been quick. And Kears Makers as well, ex Super League driver, obviously years and years ago now. He did 21 races, but when he did race there, 12 victories. So it's he's got a proven track record of winning races and being competitive, being at the front. Just obviously might be a little bit rusty regarding GPV WC content and the cars, the format, but again, they might be sort of like dark horses to win the championship. I think
Ooh,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's
Dark horses, ones
yeah.
to watch out for sure for race victories. I think.
Yeah, that could very well be. At least, yeah, the team looks to be ready. With Keersmakers, yeah, they have a very strong driver that's I believe is very good with setups, and that's quite important in the races. And with Bastian Peisler, you have a safe pair of hands again. Yeah, I have a very smart driver that knows when to take risk, when not to take risk, and yeah, I think Peisler will score a good amount of points for the team. Um, One thing I worry about, and that is the managing side of the team. I know the team has a good manager, but like Clegg Ely, Holland Racing Team is doing this for the first time, and yeah, for first timers in such a managing series, it's difficult to get it right, yeah, all the time. So let's see if they will go the right way with developing the car, and yeah, with just yeah doing the right things. Yeah, like the other teams, if they can get that right, if they work on that, I think you will have a bright future in Super League Lights and a pretty good season actually. So yeah, that's my only worry. You got any other worries for this team, Holland Racing Team?
Well, it's interesting you say it 'cause it's something we haven't mentioned yet with the other three teams. But obviously, the reserve or test driver role is obviously important to get those resource points and to spend on the car wisely. And that's the thing, the commitment of the reserve drivers. I mean, are they going to be there every time? Some going to be better because obviously there's targets to hit when you do these tests to get the research points, and it'd be interesting to see how effective these reserve drivers are to benefit the team long term as well.
Yeah, that's very true. So yeah, Holland Racing Team, tough season ahead, but yeah, with the driver lineup and with the knowledge as well, they will be a good team here, and at least a team that takes it very seriously. And I think that's the thing you need to do when you're in the Super League Lights. Of course, it's a new series, but yeah, you only can go up if you take it very seriously. And with Holland Racing Team, I feel at least there is a team that takes it very seriously. And like the other managers, I believe Garrett is a bit in charge there as now, Garrett de Vries, and yeah, he knows what to do. But yeah, it's only the first time for him, so yeah, he needs to learn managing the team. But yeah, he will do a decent job, I think. So that's actually what I want to say for a Holland Racing Team. So that's three teams done already. Let's see which next team is where we're going to have. That's let me see.
Cosmo,
Cosmo.
good old Cosmo.
Cosmo
It's
Psyche, yeah.
great to see him back. Oh, it's a team I really, really like actually. Personally, they're good characters. Joshua Anderson being the manager there as
Yeah.
well. He's always a brilliant, brilliant character to have at GPV. Obviously, everyone knows him. As and a team as well. They've really sort of sharpened up, I should say, probably as a team this year with the addition they have in their driver lineup, Lucas Schmidt, and of course Mike Bell as well, staying at the team. I say, I think Lucas as well, another, I say, ACR driver there in that team, and really going to sharpen things up, and I think up the level and expectations of the team going forward.
Yeah, I agree on that. Cosmo Psyche Japan from Joshua Anderson, of course, a very likable character in the GPVWC. and yeah, got a team now in Superleague Lights, which is of course really good. And yeah, to sign somebody like Lucas Smith, who actually I don't know that well. Only I know him from results in other leagues. But everybody says to me, watch out for Lucas Smith. He will be the
Yeah.
guy that will, yeah, show some people, yeah, how it's done. And yeah, let's see if he in the end he will deliver. Of course, that's very important. But yeah, if I hear everybody, they say Lucas is a dark horse for very good results.
Yeah.
Then we've got next to it, yeah, Mike Bell. Mike Bell is a sim racer, which is sim racing for very long. He's doing, I believe, real life karting. So
Yeah.
Mike Bell knows how to drive a car as well. I think for Mike Bell, it's really important to have a good setup. If he with Lucas can work together with a good base setup, I think Mike will be fine. But without a great setup, yeah, I think Mike will struggle a bit. But I think that's something they both know. So yeah, they will help each other. And then as a reserve driver, I see here on the Wikipedia, April Carswald. I don't know April that good. Can you tell me anything about the driver?
Yeah, I know her pretty well. Very, very in depth. Do his setups, very technically minded, and helped out the team quite a lot last year regarding the setup of the car. Helped Mike a lot, and I think as well with Lucas there, I think they'll up the performance as well. I mean, Mike was a very solid driver last year. Had to add a few issues with the wheel. Got a brand new wheel now this year as well, and I think the level will be stepped up. I think from Mike, I was expecting to have some stronger performances consistently speaking, and now he's got a much higher benchmark to than the teammates of last year, I think. So and the help with April there as well, doing the testing and will always be there, always very consistent and very very committed with what she does as well.
Yeah,
I think they're going to be sort of upper midfield, I'd
yeah.
probably say,
But
and
yeah,
particularly Lucas as well going for the race wins and the podiums. I think.
yeah. I think yeah, Australia will be very interesting because will Lucas will he be at that level from race one, or will he take a few? Does he need a few races to adapt to the league and then can show his speed? I think that's the main thing, because yeah, we expect every driver to be there and be decent, be very good, be alien-like from Australia. But yeah, that's my question. I think for Lucas, or my, yeah, what I think from Lucas, can he stand there? Can he be on the top from Australia, or does he need a few more races? But I think he will be there in the end. So yeah, I think bright times ahead for Cosmo. So yeah, pretty decent. So good for them,
Oh,
I would say.
that is good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them on track.
Yeah. Let's go to the next team, which is Red Arrow.
Yep.
So let's get the Red Arrow logo in. So Red Arrow Racing. I think this team is one of my personal favorites because they have a very good lineup, and the managing side is also very good. So who do they have? They have Chris Butcher, the FC champion of 2018, and they got Matthew Williams, an FC race winner, in their car as primary drivers, and they have David Junt, I believe, two times number 3 in the FC Championship, signed at Red Arrow Racing. David, any thoughts about Red Arrow Racing?
Oh, uh, many people's favourites, I think, for the season. I think obviously Butcher's going to be really, really up there, and I think Williams will challenge. The difference in Butcher and Williams regarding how they'll be very, very close on track. I think Williams will be pushing Butcher quite hard as well, because I think Williams was fourth last year. I think in the team standings in FC, obviously. So the gap was a quite a bit, but I think in the same car, same setup, same team, and particularly the help of David Junt as well, and David Fidek managing the team,
Yeah.
I don't think you can really ask for much better than that. And I think they're going to be really, really on the pace from race one all the way through the season. They're going to be really, really strong and difficult to beat no matter what the track.
Yeah, I agree in a part, but I've also got a bit of fears at Red Arrow because Butcher and Williams are two very, very fast guys. You saw that in FC. But of course, the Formula Challenge races are pretty short, and now Williams and Butcher need to, yeah, they take a bit different approach. They went from super sprint races. They now need to go to very long races, and that's of course they need to adapt to that. Now I know they've got talent enough to do that successfully and make a good yeah. They adapt well to a longer format, but yeah, they need to work on that. And the thing what I also want to mention is that the FC Championship of last year, there were a lot of good drivers in that championship, but I think the uh, drivers that now are in Super League Lights are are yeah are also very strong. The opposition is really strong and really wide. Like I think you will have more fast drivers now in Super League Lights than that they had last year in FC. So they are for me one of the top teams, but they will get yeah they have a very strong rival teams, and
Yeah,
yeah what they need to work on is just to do the best they can, and yeah with the talent they will be I think one of the teams to beat. And of course with David Fidok as a team manager, yeah there will be a very strong race car with upgrades that are selected like the drivers want to, and the drivers will have a car that they can extract the best from. So yeah, that's what I think of Red Arrow. So yeah, I think mainly positive, but yeah, it always is a challenge also for Red Arrow. Let's see where
yeah.
they end up. Will they win the title? Yeah, maybe, or maybe it will be another team. But yeah, we shall see. But
They'll definitely be up there, won't they?
yeah,
They will be challenging, I reckon,
yeah,
definitely for sure. It's just the adaptation, I think,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the adjustment from sprint
yeah,
races to longer races is, as you say, the key.
yeah. That's the key. So yeah, we shall see how they what they will do in the season. But yeah, if you want to place bets, I might go for this team. But there are a few others. Some we already named, and some are still coming. So yeah, overall, it shows that the Super League Lights grid is very good. At least we've got yeah all teams we now spoken of, and all teams that will come now have very good drivers, and yeah that's very cool. But it also makes it very hard to make the difference to be the best of the best, if I can say it like that. I think that's uh, what we should say. So yeah, let's go to the next team, and the next team is let's see, Stax Racing.
Yeah,
So I get this Stax
they're
logo
very
now. Yeah,
they're very often the thorn at the side of Red Arrow last year, wasn't
yeah,
they? You know,
yeah,
those two fighting for the Formula Challenge title. Great to see them fighting each other once again this year.
yeah,
Obviously, a whole new lineup as well. You know, it was not the Shepherd and Campfield lineup last year. A whole new lineup for them, Limburg and Marquardt in that team. So it'd be an interesting combination, I think. And Tarek Gamil was their reserve driver.
yeah. I
It'd be
agree.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a very interesting lineup. Stax Racing, of course, driving under a Canadian license, managed by Christian Zorner. As they now have signed Johan Lindberg and Matthew Marquardt as the primary drivers. And it's quite interesting because we had this lineup at another team a few years ago in another series. But Johan Lindberg and Matthew Marquardt yeah, found each other again at Stax. And what I can say about Marquardt and Lindbergh is that they prepare very well. I know them both. I raced against them both, and what I know from them is that they take it very seriously, and they test a lot. So they have a lot of data which they can analyze, and I think this could be a very good thing for Stacks. Having that said, is that yeah, in Formula Challenge, I think last season they had also a very strong lineup and nearly got the title. Uh, with all respects, I think Lindbergh and Marquardt are a very good lineup, but I'm not sure how far they can get it in terms of the Constructors' Championship. I'm not sure where they will end up in there. I think they will get a decent amount of points, but I'm not sure uh, where it will end for them. In what position of the championship? What do
Yeah.
you think?
I think they're the sort of team you'd be looking at mid-table. I think they'll be sort of fighting sort of between the sort of in races between sort of the lower end of the points.
Yeah.
Around that sort of area. It's a shame because there's so many good teams this year, and they're going to find some good drivers just fighting in midfield. But that's what it's
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be down to at the end of the day. And Stacks might be a team that might suffer a little bit as a result. But again, particularly with Limburg, I think they got the thing is, I think they're a good lineup, but they haven't got that sort of spark about them. There's not that sort of spark to say, oh, we can fight at the front consistently. But I think if they're a hard-working team, you know, they could unlock something in the setup, maybe, or just manage to get a good setup on the car and actually be good in some races.
Yeah, I agree. But we shouldn't forget the manager is quite knowledgeable guy. He knows
Yeah.
how to build a car well. And yeah, we talked that with other teams that they all have guys that know or might know how to build a car. But it goes also for Christian Zorner. So I've got no doubts they will have a very good upgraded car where Marquardt and Limburg can extract the most from. But yeah, let's see where they will end in the championship. Let's see where they are mid-season. But yeah, we shall see. I think after two very good seasons in Formula Challenge, they now went to a very stronger series, and yeah, that might hurt them in terms of constructors. I think we shouldn't expect them to get another top three position in the constructors, but yeah, the drivers are really good. So let's see what will happen. I think we will see some fireworks from one of the drivers, or maybe both. So interesting stuff, I would say. So let's go.
We go to the next team now, which I
Yes,
believe will be Cenobite.
Cenobite Motorsports from team manager Liam De Waal, who we of course all know. Let's see. Let's get the wiki there. We've got two drivers, Pedro Maura from Brazil and Noah Chilla from Germany, with Arjan van Putten as the reserve driver. So, Cenobite, a team that made its debut in Formula Challenge last year, finishing in third position in the constructors. Now moved up, to Superleague Lights. With two drivers, I actually don't know that well, and
No.
it's very difficult for me to make a prediction where they will end. I talked with the manager Liam De Waal a few days ago, and he said the drivers I have are really good. Uh, but yeah, I think a lot of people, at least me, don't know them from GPV. They're new in GPV, so it's difficult to see where they will end and what they can do and how they will work together. Um, but yeah, there are some positives. I believe in the preseason test they were quite quick, so if we look at that, that might be all right. And with Arjan van Putten, they have signed, in my eyes, a very talented reserve driver. So at least that's well done. You've got anything to add, David?
The thing is, the one thing I would say is I think because Liam's, well respected guy in GP, done a lot. I don't think he would have signed these drivers unless he's known something about them first. Like he's probably tested them out and think, yeah, these are pretty handy drivers, or he's watched them somewhere. I don't really know him too well. I believe they've done a few sort of like academy races and stuff like that in the past. So we all watched Iron in Koto and was really, really quick. Obviously that's a different kettle of fish if you compare Academy to the Superleague Lights. So it's difficult to say. I think they probably at this stage probably could take it one race at a time regarding where their expectations are going to be. It looks a fairly new lineup and not an experienced lineup at GPV, so it'd be interesting to see where they come. But I wouldn't expect too much from them too soon.
No, I think I can agree on that. What do you think about Liam de Waal in terms of giving them a car that can be very good? Do you think Liam is capable to do that, or you?
Yeah, I think so. The thing is, he knows how the system works. He's been around a long time.
Yeah.
With Iron there as well, I've spoken to Iron before, and he seems really motivated about GPV. So it sounds like he'll be consistently around and being able to put some input into the car and testing as well. So potential's there. Potential's there, I feel.
Yeah, I agree that there is a lot of potential in the team. But yeah, like all teams, they need to perform in the races. And yeah, will that happen in Australia, or will they need a few races? Yeah, so I think judging at one race at a time and going one race at a time, I think would be the best for the team. So yeah, I think a good team, good rookies, but yeah, unsure where they will end. But that's the kind of thing we like, of course. If we all would know where everybody was ending, it was not a good competition. So
Yeah.
we need to have we think we know everything, but in the end we don't know anything. They all start from zero, and that's the thing that makes me very exciting for all these series to start. Is that of course past results are nice. They can give a bit of an indication, but it never gives you the future. So
Yeah.
that's why you can always work to a new success, and you need to work to a new success if you want to do well, of course. Yeah, that's very very interesting. But good lineup, I would say. Interesting lineup.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next team, and the next team will be a Royal Blue. So we got the logo
Yeah,
there.
interesting.
Yeah.
Again, Matt Clip as their manager as well, and the same lineup as last year from Formula Challenge, James Early and Thomas Adri Harisoa as well in that lineup. As I think from last year, you've probably got to say solid and consistent yet unspectacular from Formula Challenge. Tommy Italo as well as their reserve seat. Again, I think this is going to be one of those teams where I think they're not going to be like crashing out and doing DNFs and stuff like that every race. Not that at all. But I don't think they're going to be doing fireworks, setting off fireworks in the races. I think it's just going to be sort of steadily going around their business.
Yeah.
Maybe get the odd point here and there, and again building up, gaining the experience they'll need, and maybe develop better during the year. But I think the two drivers will be very committed throughout the year. I can't see them changing drivers all the time. I think they'll be quite a committed lineup and do respectably.
Yeah, I agree on that. Of course, we know Royal Blue Racing from the Formula Challenge last year, where I believe they finished in fourth position in the Constructors Championship, if I'm not wrong. And the main, the strongest point of the team was that they always scored points. So they were maybe not getting podiums or wins every time, but they always got those points in, and that will be an interesting factor if they can do that as well in the Super League Lights. If they at least with one car can finish in the points on a regular basis, I think the team will be very good. And with James Early, which is he's really a talented sim racer, I think they can get pretty far, because Early is really good. And then we've got, of course, Thomas Adrian Merisoa. What a name to pronounce. Well, what I think from him, he's a decent sim racer. I would not say he's one of the fastest sim racers, but Thomas is a driver, which you can see is he's always thinking in the car. When I see him sim racing, he always thinks about the next step in the race. He thinks about making a risk, when to risk it and when not to risk it. Thomas Adriano is a guy that you can always trust him to finish a race. I think
Yeah.
that's a guy that always brings the car home. And in the end, when you've got a very difficult race with maybe rain or maybe something else, you need those kind of drivers that bring a top 12 finish or a top 10 finish home. And that's very interesting. I think, yeah, it's like, yeah, uh, yeah, it's really a fighter. And
Yeah.
yeah, both drivers know each other for 1 year now, so that's I think very good. So they can work together. Otherwise, they would have both gone their own way. So I think that the team is good balanced, and with Matthew Klipp as a manager, yeah, that will be a pretty good car. Would be very interesting to see is that because Matthew Klipp is driving himself at Clegg Ely, if Royal Blue will go the same way as on developing as Clegg Ely, or maybe they will go completely different way because the drivers of Clegg Ely just think a different way of upgrading works better than the drivers of Royal Blue would think. So yeah,
Oh,
that's interesting stuff, I would say. Yeah. Anything to add,
yeah, it's
David?
interesting.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's a very good point actually, which I forgot to think. I like to think that teams will hopefully go their own direction,
Yeah.
but you don't know. You just don't know what's going on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and we can only always get an idea of what's going on, but we don't know the facts.
No, true. But what I also think with upgrading, I think we'll see some teams that will have it right from the first upgrade, and
Yeah.
I see some other teams that made the wrong choices in upgrading, just changing the next upgrade to be on a different area so that they can gain lost ground during the season. So that's very interesting to see, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see which teams will get it right, and which team will have the upgrades which in the race brings less. But we shall see how it will go actually. So yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting team. I would say midfield team, but yeah, also a team that will be there when everybody is on its roof or crashing out. Then yeah, I think Royal Blue is still the team that will survive those long races. Let's go to the next team now. Let's see. The next team we have is I believe that's TR Blue Voz.
Yep.
So let's get the logo in here. TR Blue Voz Motorsports from Mexico, managed by Michael Teichmann, who actually spoke today, with the drivers Marcin Rebachuk and Dusko Avramovski. And the reserve driver they have is Hayden Rhodes from the UK.
Yep.
What do you think about this team, David?
A bit of an unknown, really. Obviously, we did respectfully last year in Formula Challenge. We don't really know Dusko too well, but as we got pointed out today, that Teichmann actually told us, watch out for Dusko. He's, a bit of an unexpected dark horse to do pretty well. And yeah, it's again difficult to read what's actually going to happen. But I think these are two drivers again, by the sounds of it, got talent. We've got the ability to maybe potentially do quite well, but I think again it's going to be one of those. It's going to take a while.
Yeah,
might take a while to get going.
Yeah.
When it gets to mid-season and onwards, they might be getting their feet on the ground, so to speak. But it might just take a while for them to get there, to get going, get used to it. potentially. And Hayden Rhodes as well, pretty new to GPWC, done some mechanic races, and signed up with Matt, the brand new mad.isimrest.com Formula Challenge team as well. So, you know, fairly new team, new setup, but maybe I'd say probably lower midfield, maybe scrapping for a point here and there. That's where I'll probably see.
Yeah, I would say
I think most people see that.
Yeah, I think it could be a potential midfield team. With Marcin Rebachuk, I see a driver which has a lot of talent. I really think he's a very good talent, but also a driver that I'm not sure how good he is on those longer races. He was good in FC races, but yeah, 80% races we shall see how it will go. But he's got the talent. Um, so interesting what will happen there. I don't know this code that much, so it's difficult to see where he will end up. But yeah, like we got pointed out, he is quite handy, so it will be interesting what will happen there. I agree. What you said is that it might be difficult for this team to deliver from race one. I think it's all a bit new for the drivers, and I think Australia potentially can be a good race for them if they prepare well. But I think after a few races, like after 3 or 4 races, they know everything from the races, where their weak points are during the race, what they can work on. And I think if they got that yeah that base good, I think they will make an improvement in the overall performance. Yeah, and yeah, we talked with Michael Teichmann today, and he still he expects both cars to be in the points, and yeah, I think that's of course what you should aim for. And I would say it's possible, but yeah, only half of the field can get points, so it will be hard. But two of the main drivers will have the talent for it, and it also goes with the reserve driver, who's pretty good as well, Hayden. Yeah, so overall a good team. But yeah, working together, that's the main thing. If they can work together, they will do well. Anything to add?
Yeah, I think you've summed that up really well, Menno, there, actually. Just might be a bit of a long season for them, but you know,
Yeah.
hopefully they stick at it and hopefully the results to come to them.
Yeah, actually, I need to say this team is one of my personal favorites. So I hope it goes well, and also with the building of the car, I hope that will go well, and yeah, then they will be in the points regularly. So we're going to the next one, and the next team we now have is
CM
Tech. Yeah, CM Tech from Wopke Hoekstra, a well-known guy in GPWC, of course. CM Tech from Schoonhoven in the Netherlands. Yes, pronounce that, you English guys.
I'm not going to try.
No.
I'm not...
with drivers Ivan Leonov and Indrek Remets. I cannot pronounce that right for now. And Mark Fuller as the reserve, at least Wikipedia says. Yeah, if I look at CM Tech, I see a pretty good team with a pretty rookie lineup, if you ask me. A rookie lineup which I still think can do very well. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I think particularly Leonov can be quite an interesting one to look out for sure. I think it'll be interesting to see how he does. He's done Formula Challenge races before for for a year.
Yeah.
But you know, I think again another solid guy, and he's got the occasional good speed. You know, he can turn up a good amount of pace on him. In drag, I've never seen before. I can't really get a read on what he's done before. But if he's like other Estonian sim races that we've had before, hopefully we'll see a good turn of speed from him. You know, but I haven't really seen too much of him. I saw a little bit in the pre-season test. I thought he looked pretty handy, but again, difficult to really say in a pre-season test because not everyone's pushing 100%. So it'd be interesting to see how they do. But so one thing, obviously, they got the experience of Mark Fuller there as well. You know, one of the most experienced guys around GPV, of course. He did 111 Super League races in his time, as well. So a man with a huge amount of experience, 132 Super Cup races as well.
Yeah.
So he'd be one to be around to help for sure with setup and sorting the car out and doing the development work as well on that car, and be a great person to go to if they need the help.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, if I look at the driver lineup, I don't know Indrek, and it's difficult to say what I expect from him. But of course, like all managers, Bob Cookstra said to me, yeah, that guy is pretty handy. So yeah, we need to see how he will perform, of course. From Ivan Leonov, we know, of course, a bit more. He won some FC races, I believe 2 or 3 last year for Team Cenobite. Now, of course, that's CM Tech. So yeah, that guy has skills to do very well. But Leonov, of course, also has a whole other yeah, FC races are a whole other thing than Super League Lights races. And yeah, my main worry is he can do it in a short format, but can even do it now in a long format. That's my only worry for now. But I guess he's got the talent to at least learn it and then do it. So yeah, I think even Leonov will score some good point finishes, and yeah, I guess Enrek will do pretty good as well. And with Bob Hoekstra, a manager that knows a lot about upgrading as well, because he's driving himself in Super League. So he knows, I think, where the points are to improve the car, which upgrades need to be chosen to get the best out of the car. Yeah, then of course he will get some feedback from the drivers, and then yeah, they will build a monster of a car, I think. And yeah, I would say good times coming for CM Tech. Not sure where they will end in the constructors. I actually can't judge because it looks like a very good team. But we all have very good teams, so yeah, being the
Yeah,
best of the
that'd
best,
be
yeah, that would be difficult. But yeah, this is a team that signed youth and talent and experience in, of course, in Mark Fuller. So I think it's quite a good mix, and I think that's might be one of the strongest points of the team. So yeah, that was CM Tech. Let's go to the next team. And the next team, that's let's see,
TTF.
TTF Racing. TTF Racing from Tyrone Frit from London, with the main drivers Ruben van den Hudding and Rauru Muru. And the reserve driver I see here is George Whitehouse. Uh, let's look at the lineup. An interesting lineup with Ruben and Muru, who both have experience in GPWC. Ruben van der Hudding, I believe, was the guy that went fastest on the first preseason test. David, is that correct?
Yes, I
Yeah,
believe that is correct. Yes, and I get a guy who's been highly thought of in the pits
yeah,
and the community at GPVWC. Could be another dark horse. I think Rono's there to be more solid, consistent guy, and obviously, and they've been signed on from last year because obviously he was there at Formula Challenge last year as well on that team. So I think he's there to be made more of a solid performer. And Ruben's maybe there to have a bit more of a spark in the lineup and maybe gather a few more points to the team and have some better performances potentially as well.
yeah,
So it's got some legs on that team, that's for sure. I think they could do respectably. I think Ruben could be a dark horse with some top 5s or top 8 finishes, that type of thing. And the test driver George Whitehouse has been extremely busy since he's joined GPV. Obviously signed for Crossfire, been moved to Calamity as well for the year, and now he does test for YTF1 in Super League last week, and now the test driver and reserve driver for TTF as well this year. So it's it's going to be a bit. And George doing some great work as well for GPVWC as well from the media side of things. It's going to be a busy year for George, and I'll say, but he has got an element of pace about him. I think he's a little bit inconsistent sometimes. I've watched him testing quite a few times. He's definitely got speed, but I think he's quite new to Alpha Factor 2, and he's a little bit erratic, but he does karting in real life. Very quick in that. He'll be doing the Daniel Ricciardo series in the UK this year, so he's definitely got some potential there. And I think for him personally, a great learning experience this year at TTF. And I think TTF are again another team that are in that sort of main group.
Yeah.
Like the CM Techs, the Blue Vosses, the Royal Blues, the sort of those sort of teams really that are going to be in that midfield scrap, trying to grab as many points as you can. And the thing is, with this midfield scrap, it only takes like one great point scoring haul from a round or a couple of rounds, and then it will get you right up there in the championship. So ahead of everybody else. So it's going to be interesting.
That's very interesting, because what you say is it might be that we are at the last round, and the last round of the championship is at Brazil, where you still have a lot of constructors battles for several positions, and of course that will be the best what we will see, of course, if that will indeed happen. But yeah, I see in TTF at least a midfield runner, but I must say every team we now spoke of, and I think every team that we still need to talk about, has got at least a midfield team. So yeah, somebody needs to end in last, and somebody needs to end in first. It's so difficult to say, and how far are we going in the whole list of teams we talk about, the harder it gets to predict it. Actually, you agree, David?
Yeah, definitely. You
Yeah.
can't really separate the midfield, and you'll literally see after the first few rounds, maybe the first 2 or 3 rounds, thinking, oh, okay, they're the ones who sort of maybe got the edge on the others, sort of thing. But of course, the development race as well is going to be so important for these guys, because they can get the edge on the others. It'll make their job a lot easier.
Yeah, I agree on that. So that was TTF. Then we go to the next team, and that's MDR.
Yeah.
So MDR logo. So David, MDR, tell us about it.
Where'd you start? Just go through the hundreds of drivers they got in their team, and then we'll be here all night. But no, I think they're very enthusiastic, great characters as well, and I think they're down under Mayor again in that sort of scrap as well. They got Stefano as their reserve driver, and plenty of backup if necessary. For their team. But so no, honestly, I think again they're enthusiastic, and I think that sort of designed to do well. Still fairly new team. Under 1 season really of GPV. Both young guys, both really, really good, and I say they got some. I don't know how they're gonna do. In all honesty, I think maybe lower midfield. I don't really know.
Not
sort
sure.
of midfield, maybe in the points most of the time, but not all the time. If that makes sense. Maybe sort of getting those sort of 12ths and 14ths and stuff like that, and maybe fall out the points a little bit.
But will that be a problem? Because you said they're both young guys. I believe they're both not 20. I believe they're younger than that. I believe 16 and 18 or something like that. Will that be a problem? Like we also say with Leonov, because he is pretty young. Will Mayer and Jack Mayer and Josh Downard as both as the primary drive, will that be a problem that you are young? I mean, they both have talent, but will there be a problem like you don't have a experienced guy in? I mean, an experienced guy also with age, which maybe thinks a little bit another way than like young people would do.
Yeah, I wish we was young compared to these. We used to be, didn't we? I think having Wesley there helps a little bit, because he's had about 90 races in GP VWC in the past. He's I think a bit older than these guys, so it's that'd help. The thing is, the one advantage I'd probably say they have is they're managing the team, but also driving. So when it gets to development, they know what they want.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So that might actually help. They're not sort of relying on someone else's feedback and sort of. I mean, that obviously that helps quite well, but when it's your own direct feedback, thinking, okay, improve this, improve that, that might help long term.
Yeah,
That might help long term, that they're actually managing themselves as such rather than managing somebody else.
yeah, that's very true. And they also start their own academy, I believe, the MDR Academy. Do you
Yep.
think we will see one or two of those drivers at MDR in this series, or do you think now it's mainly be the Jack and Josh show? Maybe
Uh,
with adding of
I
Wesley.
think maybe as a reserve. Obviously, I know Wesley's there at the moment. I think if one of those if someone does come up, I think it's the fact that Jack and Josh can't be there for the round. I think Wesley will step in, and then like somebody else to fill in as a test row. I can't see. I'm looking at the guys that they've signed. I don't know. It's going to be difficult. I think they'll have to prove themselves a lot in the Academy series and maybe Formula Challenge first, and maybe in the later parts of the year when we get to sort of like the Monzas, the Spas, the British Grand Prix, you might see someone step in, but I can't see it for now. I think the guys that they've signed, a lot of them will be in like the Super Cup and Formula Challenge first. Before maybe seeing 2020, you might see one of these guys in one of the roles in their team for Superleague Lights or Super League, depending on how well they do. But you know, it's
Yeah,
good to see.
yeah, I agree on that. So MDR now we have spoken about them, and then we only have yeah, it goes pretty fast. We only have got 3 teams to go,
Yep.
and the next team up is uh, is Eidos.
Eidos.
Yeah, Eidos Motorsports.
Yep.
Eidos Motorsports. What do you think about Eidos?
And the thing is, they got experience in a team with Horrell and Cash Streetfeld there as well. The thing is, I think they might be a team that might struggle this year somehow. Even though you got Horrell with experience with Super League, he's come down, and I think he can't really have a worse year than last year with respect to him. You know, obviously retired halfway through the season, sort of thing from Super League, but tells me the thing is, it's a very sort of
Yeah,
in some ways similar car, and
yeah,
there's a lot of good competition out there again. I think you'll see him score points.
yeah.
With Cass there as well. I'm not too sure. I'm just going to check to see what experience
Yeah.
he's got in the league.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I don't
if
think it's huge.
yeah, if I look at Eidos, I think they can actually can show good speed, and I think they've got yeah also a good mix of 2 drivers. Of course, Ben Hurrell has a lot of experience
Yep.
in driving, but I believe also in managing teams, so he can tell the team what he wants. I think in terms of upgrades, what he thinks is the best. So he knows. From his own how to build a car, I think, or at least yeah, he looked into it, and that will help him and the whole team. Of course, Cars is new to GPV, at least yeah, for this series, of course, and I believe for the rest as well. Yeah, it's a bit of question mark where he will stand. And of course, they've got Mikhail Galka, the FC race winner, as a reserve. So yeah, it's a pretty good team. One big worry I have about the team is that they announced they will only do 1 season in this championship. I believe they announced it a few days ago, David.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they said this is our last season in I believe in the on Air Factor 2 on the career ladder, and yeah, I was not that happy with it because you give also a message to the world and to the drivers, and I think this is a big way to demotivate drivers. You as a driver, you want to have the future. You want to do everything. You want to win, and if you now notice everything you put into it now, yeah, you know next year that will be gone. So that might be a bit demotivating, uh, I guess. But apart from that, yeah, this is also a very smart team, a very experienced team with a new guy, so a good mix. So I guess there will be some points, but where they will end. I think Eidos is one of the most difficult teams to place on where they will end,
Yeah,
because they could be going either way. Could be a huge surprise, and of course that's what the manager is hoping. But it could also be a huge failure. And
yeah,
we shall see what will happen. Of course, we will hope for the best. So interesting stuff for this team. Then we're going for the next team, and the next team, let me see, is the only team that will make his debut in GPVWC. This season. Never done any other season in GPVWC, but is very well known in other leagues. Its team, Netrex Sim Racing, which is now 21 years old.
yeah,
So that's interesting. A sim racing team with a license from Italia, or Italy, with the drivers Alari Algabus and Danny van der Niet, with Daniela Brambilla as the reserve driver. Um, yeah, a team what I would say is for me one of the dark horses for a very good championship position. Um, well, we might know Alari Alcopus from Formula Challenge, where he won a few races and where he actually impressed me. And next to him is Danny van der Niet, who from name I know quite a long time. And Danny van der Niet did some races in Super League for my team Adonis. And very very likable guy, and also a guy that knows how to race longer races. So that's it. Danny van der Niet is a guy, and I think Alari is exactly the same. Is that uh, they know when to strike. They know in the first laps you can't win a race. They will have a great build up to a race, and they know, okay, now the tires are new. Now I need to push 2-3 laps to be faster when the other guys are pitting, and I think that's pretty good. And from what I heard is that they work very 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 good together. So let's hope that will be pretty good. With building the car, I've got some doubts because they're new. They never built a car, and they never raced in GPVWC. Yeah, my main worry is that they will build a bad car. I think that would be the main thing for me. Is that they have a lot of talent, a star driver lineup, but can they build a good car? If they can build a good car, you can count them in for good races. David, what do you think?
I'm 100% with you there. I think I've spoken to Alari a lot, and I've watched him, and he looks superb. Absolutely brilliant driver. I was keeping an eye on him a lot last year in FC, and he came in, and I was actually tempted to sign him for my team this year. Obviously, lower down the pecking order. I was very, very. I kept my eyes on him a lot, and I know this guy's got a massive future in GPWC if he wants to stick around. Obviously, big history in FSR as well, and if the car's up to it, he will win races this year.
Ooh.
He will win races. I can tell you that now. Danny as well. Again, a name I've heard of, and very highly respectable guy as well around the sim racing world. Not done too much, but as you pointed out, Menno, he's raced for you in the past. I think he's done 8 races in GPVWC as well, and will be a very good challenger working over Lara, I think. And I'm not sure about a title. I think they're going to be in the top 3 if the car's up to it. Top 3 in the teams, no problem at all. I've put them in the same sort of category as Red Arrow, but I think Red Arrow have the sort of experience and the nous a bit more potentially, but Netrex have definitely got a huge potential. And the thing is, might be new to GPV, but they've been around 21 years. They've been in the biggest leagues. They're gonna know. They're gonna have done their research beforehand. I think so. I think they're looking really strong, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on them big time this year for
Yeah.
sure. I think they're going to be really, really good.
Yeah, but like this team, you think like we talked about some teams which we say need a few races to be on their A game. Do you think this team Netrex will be on their A game from Australia onwards, or do you think they like some other teams need to have a few races to be on the maximum of their performance?
But the thing is, everyone starts on a level playing field,
Yeah.
pretty much. So the best chance of winning races, I think, is straight away before you talk about car development stuff. So I think they're going to be on it right away, and on about podiums, top fives, no problem. I think
Okay.
definitely top five in the races, and always in contention to win races. I feel.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, it could very well be a very good team, but we shall see in the future. So the next team is the last of the 15 teams, and the last of the 15 teams is a team that is yeah pretty well known in GPVWC. Um they did quit, I believe, a year ago, but they're back. It's a Satellite Racing, the last team, the team founded by Matt Strand from West Palm Beach, Florida, in the United States, with the drivers Super League driver Mark Veit and Mike Quint, also a former Super League racer and FC and Super Cup driver, with the reserve driver Ryan Nash. So, David, thoughts about satellite racing?
Uh, Difficult to say, really. Difficult to say. I think Quint's got some good experience. Beat not so much. We've seen Quint do couple of rounds of a few rounds of Super League last year. Um, This is the one team I can't really get a read on too well how they're going to do, in my opinion. So I can't really say. I think they're either going to be brilliant or midfield, lower midfield type of team. Honestly, I can't really say because we don't know managerial wise where they're going to stand, and driver wise again I don't really know. I think short term they've looked solid, but long term into the season we don't really know where they're going to stand so much.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, I agree on that because we know Mike Quint, I believe, a few years ago with Scuderia Basilia in the Formula Challenge. He won, I believe, in the first 5 rounds of the Formula Challenge Championship. He won, what was it, 3 races, and yeah, the guy is really talented. If he believes in himself, I think he can get very far. And same goes for Mark Veit. Yeah, this is a team which I would say mid-pack, could be mid-pack, but also yeah, could be going either way. It can be going very good, but it can also go yeah the wrong way, and yeah, then you will of course have frustration because yeah, Satellite Racing is a pro team, and yeah, then they need to, if that happens, they need to work together to build yeah the team yeah back to a better team. So yeah, very interesting team. Difficult where to place them. Yes. So yeah. So we now talked about all of the 15 teams. So yeah, it was quite interesting to talk about it all. Um, so David, your predictions, if you should name 3 teams, which teams you think will be the ones to watch out for, at least for Australia?
I think Red Arrow, Netrex for sure, and the third one I'm going to say
Yeah,
I'm actually going to say Holland Racing Team.
Holland Racing Team. Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting, very interesting. And of course, you now want to know what I think. That is very difficult. I think, yeah, all the results are not a guarantee for yeah new success. But yeah, Red Arrow I would put into one of the best teams at least for now. Um, let's see. I would also think that Drake Racing can do very well this season
Yep.
because yeah they've got all elements and I think they can build a good car. And yeah, then the third team, yeah, difficult. I think yeah, the third team at least which I would name as to watch out for is yeah, it will be Netrex because yeah, I think those guys can do a very good job. They know what they do, and yeah, it will be very interesting uh, to see what will happen. And yeah, it will also be very interesting to see if we are actually right or maybe we're wrong. And then yeah, we'll never do a preview episode again. But yeah, I think this is actually yeah, pretty interesting. So we now talk with all teams, so we're nearly ending this preview. Uh, let's give you a few dates where to watch the Super League Lights. Now we've got the first race of the Super League Lights on the 13th of March at Melbourne. That will be very interesting because that's the only race the Super League Light cars have without any upgrades. Then the second round will be the 27th of March. So Australia and the second round in Malaysia will be very interesting rounds. Before we go, anything you want to add, David?
I think we've ran. I think we've said and mentioned everything to a good standard. So yeah, I'm happy. I hope everyone who's watched this has enjoyed it, and I say it'd be a pleasure to see what happens from the 13th of March and see how this season, or this first Super League like season unfolds. Can't
Yeah,
wait.
yeah, and I think this will be a championship that is one to stay. So that will be interesting to see. So I want to thank you all for watching in today's Super League Lights preview broadcast, and yeah, we hope to all speak or see you soon. So thanks all. Bye bye.